It's not about what happens to you. No one escapes adversity. No one lives free of discomfort or misfortune or struggle. No, it will always be about what you do with what happens to you. In other words, it's not the event, it's the response. Not the obstacle, but the ability to navigate around it. Not the wave, but the ability to ride its momentum to something greater. It is not what happens to you, it is what you do about what happens to you. The famous Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And I think this realization comes down to the fact that there is always a way. Buried underneath it all, something powerful to leverage. But getting to the value calls for a rewiring. A change in the questions that we ask. Not, how could this happen to me? But, how can I be better tomorrow than I am now because of what happened to me? Not, can I still be that person or accomplish what I set out to? But, I am that person. Now how will I adjust my path so that I get there? We're operating within a world of value, limitless opportunity. The difficulty simply pushes us to that value faster, expedites the process. It forces us to open our eyes and see that the world works for us. So you take, for example, the fear of starting something new. That fear, it doesn't have to be an endpoint or a red light indicator. Fear doesn't mean you're not qualified or prepared or equipped. It simply lets you know that you have finally acquired the courage to step out of the safety of the only world you knew and into the turbulence of growth, onto the path of something better. And where it's easy to move away from that feeling, to turn your back on the chaos and retreat to something simpler, maybe something more predictable or contained. What if you viewed the fear as the price that we all have to pay to pull the curtain back on the best things life has to offer? Changing the question from, will I be afraid, to instead, this is important, this is meaningful, therefore it's inevitable that I will experience fear, but what will I do about it? How will I conduct myself amidst the fear? Will I continue forward? Those are the questions that contain the value. Right? I can't keep the water from rising or the walls from caving in. No, that's an inevitability where I'm going. The worthwhile road always has its adversity. But will I use that water to learn to swim? The walls to climb, to adapt and scale? What will I make of this? That's the question that becomes the difference. And sure, you could stay away. You could choose not to take the path that presents the danger and the turbulence. You could attempt to contain the world around you by simply refusing to experience it. But then, of course, you become presented with the question, Why intentionally refuse to cash in a winning lottery ticket? Why diminish your gift in such a way? If it's not what you look at, it's what you see. Why see the world as an adversary? Why see yourself as less than you are? The saying goes, when you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. You'll never exceed the person you've decided yourself to be. And yes, the world can feel intimidating. It's unknown. You in many ways can't control the characteristics that make life what it is, but you can always control you. Just like you can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. You can't control the tides, but you can predict and plan and execute accordingly. You control you, and that is where the power is. And of course, there's going to be times where that's hard to see, when it's not your first instinct to find the value. Take, for an example, a change, a loss, the end of a relationship, the point where people tend to feel their lowest. It hurts to have something and lose it. To have what you were once so sure about challenged, what you once believed in called into question. But this doesn't have to be a referendum on you as a human being, right? Sure, you made your mistakes, but you have the opportunity to dwell on them or to acknowledge them and ask the question, I know what I know now. How can I be better than I've ever been in my life? How can I position myself to get more of the good and less of the bad? Same idea, different context. When those walls feel like they're crumbling down, you have to know there is more on the other side, just beyond what the eye can see. And this isn't just an idea I play around with in my head. I make a concentrated effort to think this every time something goes wrong. When my first reaction is emotional, my first emotion is anger or frustration. It's like, take a breath, compose yourself, and start looking for the value. Because here's the truth, the world is not going to end today. There's going to be a time down the road when I look over my shoulder and right now is a distant memory. What will I have done with it? And it's the times that might have broken you that contain the greatest transformation. I like to say the greatest tragedies or the hardest times made me who I am today. The losses taught me that I had everything I needed. The failure showed me what I'm capable of enduring. The times I was let down taught me to depersonalize the shortcomings of others, but to simultaneously hedge against them. The times I was lost showed me we only discover or meet our potential when we leave the little day-to-day realities that we create. Why? Because we are in control, not of the external, but the internal, and that ends up being a bridge to a reality that means so when you find yourself at the base of a mountain looking up, understand that there are two ways to perceive the climb. You can see it as the gravity pushing down on you, as Earth standing in your way, or as an opportunity to ascend to a version of yourself that previously not only didn't exist, but wasn't available. This is your opportunity. The same opportunity that the vast majority of the world would disregard or misinterpret. That most would feel fear of and be dissuaded by. Most would live in the stories about who they aren't and what they aren't capable of. But not you.
Where you feel like nobody needs you.
You didn't place that mountain before you.
Nobody believes you.
But you sure can extract the value from it.
To write the book
All you
Launch
have
the
to do is
course.
decide that you're
And then when you
capable,
do it, nobody invests in it.
and that the meaning and the
The
value
hour is
and the
now.
freedom of
The game
tomorrow
changers to
means
emerge.
more than the
For the
discomfort of
forgotten,
today.
for the rejected, for the ignored.
If you
to come
allow
out
that
of the
for
ashes
yourself,
and
you will
into the
become
light.
truly unstoppable.
Out of obscurity
Not
and
because the
into
path
victory.
simplified or got easier,
Take the throne with
but because the
everything that you
traveler
have in you.
trusted
The
himself
hour is now.
to walk
I am
down
coming
it.
for the throne. I'm coming for every room that you locked me out of. Every realm that I step into, I will dominate. I am determined to win, no matter what season I'm in. When you counted me out, when you rejected me, when you overlooked me, when you ignored me, I waited painfully in obscurity for the opportunity to take the throne. I am your replacement.
What does it mean to be a
Your
little better
rejection has
every
forged
single
a new
day?
fire inside of me. Man, I'm climbing the
James Clear has
ladder.
noted
I'm bringing my
that
team.
if each day
I'm
you
coming
improve
for
by only
magazines and
1%,
movie screens,
you'll be a
billboards and
full
awards,
37
movie scores and
times better
labels.
in a year.
I'm signing checks
an almost
and
unfathomable
contracts
number.
on every table.
Unbelievable
I'm no longer
transformation.
stuck
Imagine being
in the basement,
37
stuck
times
in the
better at
gutter.
what it is you're
I'm
looking for.
leaving the casket. You
37
saved
times
me,
more efficient,
vacant.
more skilled.
You were here, my feet
All
walking
because
the
of a
pavement.
1%
No
per
more
day
complacent,
commitment. Almost sounds
driven,
too good to be
persistent,
true.
and relentless are all an
Here's the
understatement.
catch, though.
Who am I?
1%
I'm
doesn't
sorry,
seem like
not sorry. I am unapologetically
good,
your
one might think.
replacement. I
That
have
should make
worked
it easier.
while you have slept. I have learned
Well,
while you have
sort
partied.
of.
I have saved while you
The
have spent.
easier and more
and I will
seemingly
live
trivial
like you
something
dreamed.
is to
I am
accomplish,
relentless. I am resilient.
easier it is to
I will not
dismiss
back
it
down.
as well.
I will not surrender. I am
We've
now
all been
an
there, that,
agent of
maybe not
change
today, maybe
and
tomorrow.
transformation.
No big deal.
I am your replacement.
We don't lose
Every room
anything.
that I walk in, I will change the
And that's
game.
what we
I'm
must learn to
influencing
wrestle.
neighborhoods and
Jim Rohn
towns,
puts it this way, he says
startups
being
and
successful is
corporations,
easy.
from the forgotten about hoods
The issue
to
is
the
that being
nations.
unsuccessful
I'm coming to reconstruct and resurrect broken foundations,
Saying yes
leaving
to the little
everybody
things
that
you know
rejected
you
me
need to
out of
do
the equation.
is easy.
The marathon continues.
So we're saying no.
The Mamba mentality has left a mark.
Putting your
Shout
phone
out
away
the
to work
NBA
on something
legend,
of substance.
Kobe and your
Yeah, that's
daughter,
pretty easy.
Gigi, from Tom Brady
But
to
watching
Drew
just
Bledsoe,
one more TikTok
rain,
or Instagram or
sleet,
YouTube
snow,
video,
I grind.
that's easy too. Putting your shoes on, going for a walk or run, heading to the gym. Hey, procedurally, pretty easy. Not that complex.
I am the difference
But
maker.
talking yourself into just going tomorrow
I
instead,
am the game changer.
also a rationalization that's pretty easy. And that's essentially the question. Which easy are you going to go with? How do you
Make
put yourself in
this
position
moment
to
the moment
select
of truth
the right
about yourself.
easy? Well, like
Many
so
of
many
you have been
things,
selling
it
yourself
starts
short
with the
all of your
worldview
life. You
and
have the
flows out
opportunity
to the
experience
tangible
more
actions we take in support of that
environmental, physical, and mental abundance.
First things first.
Is in a constant state
we
of
have
elevation.
to know that the
Their
biggest advantage
self-talk
available
is
seeing
know
the
who
small
I am,
things as
I know
so much
where I'm
more
going,
than
and
small
I know
things.
where I came from. I want to continue
refusing
the
to fall
conversation
victim
of self
to the disappointment and burnout associated with hoping for one huge jump, a miracle solution, the answer that will change everything.
A direct connection between finding
That's
your
deceiving.
passion and reaching your potential.
Winning looks
You will
small
never
and
fulfill your
consistent.
destiny
Progress
doing work
is boring.
you
It's
despise.
mundane. It
Passion
looks like
gives
deciding
you an
on what
advantage
matters
over others
and then making a
because
pact with
one
yourself
person
every day to keep your own promises. When most would fall off or push things to tomorrow, it's seeing your commitment as everything. Knowing that the people who manufacture significance in their lives, they treat what others would call silly and trivial as life and death. They make the details into the whole storyline. So yeah, it might be easy for someone else to walk away. But when you have given yourself no other option but to succeed, the little steps to make it happen require zero thought or internal deliberation. The person who gets into shape over the course of 6 months, they're not going to be the one who found a secret diet, bought a piece of equipment on Amazon. They didn't do the necessary thing here and there when they had their fleeting moments of inspiration. No, they made better, consistent decisions. No to the soda, yes to the water, no to the alarm, yes to the run, no to the Netflix, and yes to the gym. Both options were easy in the moments in which they arose. But each time only one option mattered. And that's what it's about. Tying the prolonged gratification to something that means the world to you, where each step is not just a step, but one step closer to the moon. So no, it's certainly not that a can of Coke or dessert or the day off will kill you, but flip the narrative. It's that when you do stay true to your mission and the promises you make to yourself, you get something so much more back. It's not, oh, what will I lose by skipping this 1%? No, in a world where excellence compounds, it's look what I am becoming. And this decision is an investment too good to pass up. And every decision to move forward, to embrace the things that align with your true north, is a nod to that future self.